The last of the shell-shocked were being evacuated as I headed back toward Las Ramblas Barcelona's famed tourist-filled walkway, where another disgruntled soldier of Islamic State had plowed a van into the crowd, killing at least 13 and injuring more than 120 from 34 nations. Minutes before the attack, I had dropped my wife's niece near where the rampage began. It was deja vu and dread again. As with the Paris massacre at the Bataclan Theatre in 2015, next door to where my daughter lived, at a seafront promenade south of Barcelona, a car of 5 knife-wielding kamikaze mowed down a woman before police killed them all. One teenage attacker had posted on the web 2 years before that, on my first day as king of the world, he would kill the unbelievers and leave only Muslims who follow their religion. Mariano Rajoy, the president of Spain, declared that our values and way of life will triumph, just as Theresa May had proclaimed our values will prevail in March, when yet another petty criminal, born again into radical Islam, drove his vehicle across Westminster Bridge to kill and wound pedestrians. In Charlottesville the week before, the white supremacist attacker who killed civil rights activist Heather Heyer mimicked ISIS-inspired killings using vehicles. This was something that was growing in him, the alleged attacker's former history teacher told a newspaper. He had this fascination with Nazism and white supremacist views. I admit I failed. But this is definitely a teachable moment and something we need to be vigilant about, because this stuff is tearing up our country. Charlottesville and Barcelona extremists united by a perverted sense of grievance. Jason Burke Read. More, the values of liberal and open democracy increasingly appear to be losing ground around the world to those of narrow, xenophobic ethno-nationalisms and radical Islam. This is not a clash of civilizations, but a collapse of communities. For ethno-nationalist violent extremism and transnational jihadi terrorism represent not the resurgence of traditional cultures but their unraveling. This is the dark side of globalization. The Western nation-state and relatively open markets that dominate the global political and economic order have largely supplanted age-old forms of governance and social life. People across the planet have been transformed into competitive players seeking fulfillment through material accumulation and its symbols.